You're now ready to do a few practice questions. Once the question appears on screen, pause this podcast until you've drafted your answer. How did you do? You probably formulated the name quickly and correctly, but then things got tricky. The question did not give you a name of the reporter, but instead referenced the relevant reporter. So how do you go about finding the relevant reporter? Use T1. Flip to page 241 in the Bluebook. Now look at the court information. From the chart below the Supreme Court, we can see the Northwestern Reporter did not begin publishing Iowa decisions until 1879. Our case was from 1870. Therefore, it couldn't be in the Northwestern Reporter. Instead, the relevant reporter must be the Iowa reports, which published decisions from 1855 to 1968. The reporter abbreviation is therefore Iowa. Now, how did I know that this was a Supreme Court case and not an appellate case? Once again, look at that chart. Under Court of Appeals, we can see that there are no reporters for published decisions from an Iowa Court of Appeals prior to 1977. Now I know that I am trying to formulate a cite from an Iowa Supreme Court case reported in the Iowa reports. Since it is a decision from the court of last resort, we need not include the name of the court. The only information we need is the name of the jurisdiction. But wait a minute. That reporter title unambiguously conveys the name of the jurisdiction. Therefore, under Rule 10.4b, we can eliminate Iowa from our parenthetical. The only information in our parenthetical is the date of decision. Let's try another practice question. Again, pause until you've crafted your answer. How did you do this time? Did you use page 240 to find your relevant reporter and abbreviation? You were told that this was an appellate case from 1890, so the reporter must be the Indiana Court of Appeals Reports, abbreviated capital IND period space capital A little p period. How did you do with your court name and jurisdiction in the parenthetical? Once again, this is a cite that won't require anything other than the date in those parentheses. Although the decision did not come from the court of last resort in Indiana, the reporter abbreviation unambiguously conveys both the name of the court, APP, and the jurisdiction, IND, period. Therefore, under Rule 10.4b, once again, it's just the date of decision. Let's try one last practice question. Pause until you've crafted your answer. How did you do on this one? Using T1 on page 231, you should have discovered that the preferred reporter for California Courts of Appeals cases is the California Reporter, abbreviated Cal RPTR. The name of the reporter conveys the name of the jurisdiction, but not the name of the court. Therefore, my parenthetical needs the CT period space APP period. But I can cut out the Cal from the abbreviation that was given to me in Table T1. Note that if I were using the Pacific reports, I would need to put that Cal back in because I wouldn't have the name of my jurisdiction unambiguously conveyed by the reporter abbreviation. Also note the spacing. If you look carefully and closely at the examples given in T1, you could see spaces between cal and RPTR, and again between RPTR and 2D. Remember what we talked about with Rule 6.1 and spacing. You're going to make sure you have a space before and after any abbreviation which consists of more than single adjacent capital letters. Therefore, we're going to put the space between cal and reporter, and again between reporter and 2D. You've now completed Bluebook Lesson 2 and are ready to tackle Bluebook Homework 2. If you have any additional questions, see your LARC professor or TA.